the San Diego Zoo. Today's the day. Padres Cubs elimination game. Game 3 in Chicago. It gets going at 2 o'clock. Chicago is currently a slight favorite at a pick 'em at minus 115. Yu Darvish should be on the mound for the Padres, while Jameson Taillon will be going for the Cubs. Two other games today, closeout games. Tigers and Guardians could get going here in a few minutes. Cleveland is a slight favorite at home at minus 135. And the Red Sox and Yankees get going tonight live from the Bronx at 5 p.m. The Yankees are a favorite there. Halloween is back and brighter than ever at the San Diego Zoo. From spectacular entertainment to spooky surprises, this dazzling Halloween extravaganza will light up your night and leave you amazed. The family fun kicks off at 5 p.m. every weekend in October at the San Diego Zoo.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long. We're with you for the next 2 hours, leading you almost directly up to first pitch between the Padres and the Chicago Cubs in a do or die game 3. We are clearing the decks today, folks. We are sticking with this game all the way up to action. We're going to react to yesterday's action where the Padres got a win. Manny Machado comes through in the clutch. Fernando Tatis Jr. scores a run. The Padres bullpen is absolutely lights out. If you could draft a perfect scenario for the Padres in this postseason, it was how yesterday's game played out, where you got really nice innings from Dylan Cease, where the bullpen came down and absolutely slammed the door and nailed it shut with a nail gun, and where Manny Machado comes through in the clutch moment, which is something that has evaded him his entire postseason career. It all happened yesterday, but guess what that counts for as of today? Absolutely freaking nothing. As the Padres and the Cubs get ready for a do or die situation where both teams will come in at 2:08 today and kick off what might be their final game of the season and do everything they absolutely can do to make sure it's not the final game of the season. Look, this is about as good as baseball can get. You got an elimination game at Wrigley, one of the most historic venues in all of Major League Baseball. Yu Darvish, who literally spent most of his career with the Chicago Cubs, pitching on the mound for the Padres in today's game. We'll see how long he goes. This is where baseball peaks, man. This is about as fun as it can possibly get. I cannot wait for today at 2 o'clock. And hopefully we're talking about the same thing come next Monday, where the Padres are continuing their postseason run. Sammy Long, how the hell are you, pal?
Doing good. Exciting day. I mean, just even if you're obviously everyone's pulling for the Padres down here in San Diego, but if you're just a baseball fan, I mean, 3 elimination games today, super awesome. Fun. The last time that happened, I saw a stat was in like 1981 that there's been 3 potential elimination games on the same day. Padres, man, I mean, you laid it out there last night. Or yesterday during the day was a prime example of what AJ Preller envisioned when you go get a guy like Mason Miller. When all the critics and the naysayers go, why would you trade a guy who could potentially be a perennial all-star at shortstop for you for a closer, despite him being great? That doesn't make a lot of sense. There's a lot of people that would go, I don't understand why you're not trading for an everyday player. Well, that's why, because Mason Miller throws 104.5 on the gun. I mean, just unbelievable nails. I haven't seen a closer like this in a long time, that when he's coming in the game, I don't want to jinx anything, you're just like, it's surprising when they even get on base, when they get one hit off him, let alone string a couple together. So obviously a lot of nerves going on in the city today, a lot going on. We're going to get into it all today about how they're going to do the bullpen, who needs to step up. Manny got going. So is that a one-off? Is he going to continue? Is he going to kind of cement his legacy today? A lot of narratives are going to change around this team based on what happens at 2 o'clock today.
I think so too, man. This is fun. And Padre fans, you get to enjoy all this. So when we were planning out today's show, I thought 2 things in my head. A, it's Thursday. We're lucky this game got pushed, so we are going to be able to have Coach Kentera on the show today. He's going to be at 12:30. That's going to be a very analytical breakdown of what's going to happen between the Padres and the Cubs coming up at 2:08. And then B, I wanted the most emotional person in San Diego today coming on the show. And I'll tell you, there's not a bigger Padres fan in this city than Ernie Martinez. We moved some stuff around. We got Ernie Martinez coming on the show at 1:30.
Yes, sir. I'm super excited to talk to both of them.
I don't know if Ernie's going to be able to open his mouth. I don't know if Ernie's going to be able to breathe. This may be just a conversation between me and Sammy where you just hear giggling going on in the background.
I think we should have had Ernie at 12:30 and Coach at 1:30 because to give Ernie some space to relax.
I like the way this panned out, because Ernie for sure is listening right now. And so Ernie, I want you to get in the right headspace. Have a couple things ready to go, because I'm telling you, like, I worked with Ernie for 5 or 6 years, Ernie's not going to be able to breathe, eat, sleep, anything over the past 24 hours and the next 24 hours. He's going to be a nervous wreck, but I think it's the perfect time to bring him on. And it's the perfect time for Ernie to get everyone excited for this game.
Oh, yeah.
There's no one that's going to do a better job than Ernie Martinez.
I can't wait to hear Ernie. Yeah, I mean, it's like Texas 70470. Start your message with team. Are you nervous? Are you excited? Well, what are we feeling right now? Like what? Like did last night solve a lot of answers for you? Or are you thinking that they taxed the bullpen a little too much? You're nervous about today? Like I've heard a lot of different perspectives in the last 24 hours about how they're thinking about this game. Texas 70470. Start your message with team.
I've seen Padre fans who are pissed at the way yesterday's game went. They're like, you left so much out there, which is true. They were terrible with runners.
They did leave a lot out there.
You left a lot of runners in scoring position throughout the day yesterday. Maybe that gets solved today. There's a lot of ways today can go excellently. There's a lot of ways today can go terribly. That's kind of the beauty of an elimination game, and that's why Major League Baseball has these games set up like this. That's why they switched off of the one-game wild card to give you this moment where they have 3 elimination games coming up today. First one actually just getting started between the Tigers and the Guardians. Man, today's going to be fun. Let's get to the big 3 here. We also have some giveaways to give away today. We got Aztec tickets for tomorrow night against Colorado State at Snapdragon Stadium. Will be a lot of fun tomorrow night. We got La Mesa Oktoberfest VIP passes for Sunday down in La Mesa in my neck of the woods. And then we also have a pair of tickets for you to go see Judas Priest with who are the Alice Cooper, October 18th, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. So stay tuned. We'll give all those away throughout the show today. But right now, let's get to the big 3 where Sammy Long takes us through the top stories in the world of sports. Sammy, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The big 3.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Sammy, but we're going a little special edition Big 3. Am I right?
Little special Padres edition.
I like it a lot.
We're going to do some prop bets. If you want a little action on the game, we'll have long shots at 12:45. Ben and I are going to come up with a special parlay today, but we're kind of going to go through the game script a little bit. What might happen, what might not happen.
Perfect. If you want to watch the show, a couple ways for you to do it. We'd love for the YouTube chat to start popping off today, so get on over to @SanDiegoSports760 on YouTube, and then on Twitter, X, you can find us @Fletch and Sammy. Sammy, where are we going to start today?
All right, Yu Darvish, Jamison Talion. 6 innings, we're putting this at the over-under. 6.5. So we're going to say that's the combined for both of them. Do they hit the under or the over? Darvish and Talion, are they going over 6.5 or under 6.5 innings?
I would
combine
smash in Super Mario, double smash. So you click A when you're in the air, and then you click B again for him to drop right on his butt. This is a smashing of the under, Sammy. There's no shot that they are hitting 6.5 or 7 for that matter. I think Talion is only there to get through the top half of the Padres lineup. I don't think they're going to risk having him out there against the sweep of lefties that the Padres have at the bottom of their lineup with Sheets and Cronenworth. So I think Talion is there to get through the first like five batters of the Padres, and then he's out. Yu Darvish, on the other hand, if he's pitching well, he gets through 3 subbed out in the 4th, and the Padres throw everything in the kitchen sink at this game. I think that everyone's going to be available. Morejon threw 33 pitches yesterday. He was damn near unhittable. He's going to be back out there today. Mason Miller is the most untouchable pitcher in baseball right now. He's back out there today. So I think that the under is the smart play with 6.5. I'd probably set that number. If I'm Vegas, I would set it closer to 4.5.
I'm with you on the under, and I believe that with Talion there. The Cubs' surprising move yesterday, like despite losing the game, Fletch, you and I were talking about it. Don't really understand why you go to an opener, and I get it. Shota Imanaga give up 12 home runs in his last 6 games, so they were a little nervous there facing the lefty matchup versus Tatis and then Machado. So I get it, but they ended up giving up a run anyways. If you're the Cubs, you're like, what the hell? And the thinking was that Imanaga was going to go today, and that you were probably going to have a pitching advantage over Yu Darvish, and then they burned Imanaga. So Council up there in Chicago, they're getting crushed on the radio today. I mean, interesting way that they have deployed this thing.
And John and Jim did a good job breaking it down. If you were going to go to Imanaga, fine. That makes sense. And you can logically defend that. But not if you're not going to walk Manny Machado in that situation.
Right.
Like, I don't care about how much Manny has struggled. He's good in that situation against a left-handed pitcher. You feel pretty good about Manny Machado being there, and you had first base open. So no matter how much he's struggled in the postseason throughout his career, you have every opportunity in the world just to walk him in the situation calls.
Right, and then Imanaga doesn't even see him. Like it felt like a massive mistake there. In terms of the Talion and Darvish, I'm going with the under as well, because at the first sign of trouble, if the Padres go far in the playoffs, what are we going to be talking about? It's the bullpen. So they know they have a script to win. They need to get a lead, and they hand it to the bullpen. Yesterday, they executed that perfectly. They left some runners on base, but they got a 3-run lead, and you let the bullpen go to work, and it's lights out. You get the best bullpen in baseball. Now, in this game, the second Darvish gets in trouble, and him being a fly ball pitcher. Now, he's pitched well at Wrigley before, but that isn't typically a friendly ballpark to fly ball pitchers. We saw that with Nick Pivetta a little bit. He was fantastic up until the point where he got the 2 home runs because the wind takes it out. I think they're going to go to King very fast. You basically you need Yu Darvish and Michael King to get to 6 innings.
Yeah.
However that is, however you get there, if it's 4-2, 3-3, 2-4, who cares? They got to get 6 innings. I agree with Talione. I think they're going to go to the bullpen pretty early this one for the Cubs. So I think the under 6.5 works there. All right, let's go. Speaking of the bullpen for the Padres, so Adrian Morejon and Mason Miller are pitching back-to-back days. Morejon, 33 pitches yesterday, 9 pitches on Tuesday. Mason Miller had 13 on Tuesday, and I believe he had, so I'll pull it up here to say, I believe it was like 24 yesterday. Will they both pitch again today?
Absolutely, 100%. Yes. Both of those guys, they've been the most impressive part of the Padres in this
Miller
series.
had 27 pitches yesterday.
They're both pitching today. They both have to be ready to go. This is a situation where it's literally win or die. You can talk all you want about, well, what happens on Saturday? But you can't think about Saturday at this point. You really can't. So both of those guys have to be available, ready to go. And I would expect potentially one of them is going to go more than 1 inning as well.
Yes, I think
you don't have a choice.
Miller's going to pitch. That's not negotiable. Mike Schiller said today that all hands are on deck. So, and Miller's he's literally pitching to pitch. He's already said that to the media. Suarez will definitely be going. He only pitched yesterday. If the
situation called for it, I wouldn't mind if Nick Pivetta pitched today. If the situation called for it.
Well, that's the interesting. So he's not doing his bullpen session today, according to reports. He threw 85 pitches on Tuesday. Now,
here's the thing. You get Jake Cronenworth to pitch Saturday if you have to. You're doing whatever you can to win this game.
Yes, I'm with you on that. Now, Miller will play because he's your X factor. If you take Miller out of the lineup, I mean, well, like, what are you doing here? Morejon, I think, will come in now. I think it will be in a short relief. He threw 9 pitches and then 33 pitches yesterday. That's a lot on a day game the next day to come back and be asking him to go, where him going almost 2 innings yesterday. I think Morejon will pitch. I think certainly Suarez is going to pitch. And then I think your big question is, are you seeing Jeremiah Estrada? Because this has been the guy when you talked about for the 4 or 5 horsemen at one point when Jason Adam was here, he was a part of that. And we've seen over the last month, ever since that Dodger game where he got lit up by Dalton Rushing, he has not been the same. And he in this series on Tuesday, closing the game, gave up that extra run. Who knows what happens if it's only a 1-run deficit on Tuesday's game, if the Padres are able to come back. Do we see him today? Is David Morgan going? Is Rodriguez going? Is someone jumping him and you're only going to Estrada if it is a must? Like, we don't have any more arms in the pen.
I really feel like the only way I'm looking at Estrada today on the mound is if it's an extra innings game where both teams are going deep as they could possibly go into their bullpens. I really don't think you can trust him in this point. Game 3's elimination games are not times to see if there's a redemption story arc. They're just not. Game 3's are for taking what's gotten you here and sticking with it. Today is absolutely a day to me. If it went perfectly for the Padres, here's the way you're seeing it. Like you said, Darvish, King, get you through 6. Morejon, Miller, Suarez finish the game. If the Padres could script it out, that's how they want it to go. The only way you're seeing Estrada is if somehow this game is in the 11th inning.
I think there's a thought, and I know you don't usually want to mess with where guys come in. Even in the playoffs, you want to kind of keep some continuity. So Suarez closes. There's been a big thing about should Miller close? Should Suarez close? What's going on there? I do think with the less volume of pitches that he's thrown in the last couple of days, because Suarez didn't play on Tuesday, he played yesterday. Miller pitching in both games, even though he only had 27 pitches yesterday and 13 the other day. I think there's a thought to letting Suarez try to go 7 and 8, try to get your 5 outs, try to get 4 outs, go a little bit longer is the setup, and try to let Miller close it if you have a lead. Because even if it's you're thinking it's only 1 inning.
I don't know, dude.
I think there's a thought
to a lot of criticism after the fact if Suarez isn't your closer today.
Okay, but you're not getting criticism if the Padres go out there.
If it works, of course you're not. But what if it doesn't work?
If it doesn't work, then you fall on your shield and you go, one of our best players on the team.
I would argue the best player in postseason baseball so far this year has been Mason Miller.
Right. So if that's the case, which I think it is, why aren't you dying on your shield? If you go out because the guy you traded for that's been nails for you gives up in the 9th, then I guess it wasn't meant to be. But if you let this guy go out in the 7th, 8th inning, and Suarez, who has shown some susceptibility before, even though he's a very good pitcher, he's shown a little susceptibility. He had a runner on yesterday, got the double play, which was big, but we've seen a little susceptibility there, and you lose it. Yeah, I don't think you win in the postseason just kind of playing it safe.
Maybe not. We'll see. We are about an hour and 45 minutes away from Padres Cubs Game 3. Survival is at stake. By the way, Survivor just getting started. It's been fantastic so far this season. 2 episodes in. This is like another episode of Survivor.
What season are they on?
49.
49.
Yeah.
Who is Jeff Probst?
Of course, dude. The GOAT. The best game show host of all time.
Dude, what's that guy's net worth?
Jeff Probst. Oh, tons. He has more money than you or I could ever dream about. His circa Survivor is nothing to Jeff Probst, dude. That dude has been cashing
Jeff Probst got about like 20 Circa Survivor entries.
Literally, because he's got executive producer tags on that. It's one of the longest running shows going on. Dude, Jeff Probst, we wish we could marry Jeff Probst, put it that way. All right, San Diego Sports 760, quick break here. We got tickets for you on the other side. If you want to go see Aztecs football tomorrow night at Snapdragon Stadium, just keep listening for about 15 more minutes. We're giving those tickets away. Coach Kentera at 12:30 to break down this Padres Cubs game. That's all coming up on San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. We got 13 chances every single weekday, including today, for you to win $1,000 with the bonus bucks giveaway every hour from 6 to 6. Listen for the keyword, enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win $1,000 coming up at 1:00. Padres' next chance to advance in the postseason coming up at 2:00 today. That's what we're talking about today. Coach Kentera coming up in about 10 minutes. Aztecs football tickets coming up in about 6 minutes. Keep on listening here on San Diego Sports 760. The biggest question of the day was in the big three. Let's sit down on a little bit more here. It is the Padres bullpen. How are they going to use it today? Are there any restraints put on Adrian Morejon and Mason Miller after their heroic performance? And I don't say those words lightly from yesterday. They really won the Padres the game. Yeah, the offense did its job. They put up 3 runs, but Adrian Morejon and Mason Miller come in to absolutely slam and hammer that door shut yesterday. Can they do it again today? Will they be relied upon to do it again today? I say, personally, Ben Fletcher here speaking, the Padres must and will use both Mason Miller and Adrian Morejon today as much as they need them. Because, quite frankly, you don't get another shot to do it again tomorrow if you don't. Those two guys have been absolute locks here in the postseason. If I'm Mike Shildt making calls today, I'm going to them earlier than I need to, if anything, today. And I'm to be damned with rest, to be damned with arm feel. Neither of those guys were close to being hit yesterday. I'm putting both of them in as much as I need them.
I'm with you. They have to pitch. Certainly Mason Miller, Adrian Morejon, especially if Jeremiah Estrada had been playing well recently, you could maybe give the case like, hey, we're not going to go to Morejon unless it's literally the 10th inning, 11th inning, and we have no guys left and we're going to go there. But the fact that Morejon, or the fact that Estrada has not, you don't feel great putting him out there. He looks tired. Kevin Acey's talked about it on both shows, John and Jim and us, talking about how he seems tired. And
I don't think you could trust him in big moments. There's a mental block there. The biggest moments he's been in the game this season, he's failed.
And Miller goes 27 pitches yesterday. I think, kind of like I was saying last segment, I really think you got to think about letting Suarez go for a little bit longer, not long relief. I mean, like 5 outs, trying to get you an inning in a little bit, and let Miller try to be nails at the end of the game and get after it, because he's so electric. He has to pitch today. He's the guy you traded for. He's the guy why everyone on the trade deadline, while everyone in San Diego is stoked, because you're like this. It's rare that a team has a nail shutdown closer. Look at the Dodgers the last 2 nights. Dodgers almost blow both games, and they scored.
Roki Sasaki their closer yesterday?
Yeah, and he was the one hope for the Dodgers. He was fantastic. The rest of the guys can't pitch. I was. Dodger fans on social media are like, they have an 8-run lead and they didn't feel good about it. That's how crazy the bullpen is. That's something that the Padres have that just the rest of the league doesn't, certainly on the NL side of the bracket. This game is interesting. I'm curious also what is the leash on Darvish and King? Like, if Darvish, let's play some hypotheticals here. If Darvish goes out here and gets rocked in the first inning or gets 2 on base, is it King immediately? Like, is it right away, or is it because the bullpen has been taxed, you got to let Darvish and King try to go 6, and you might give up a run or 2 in doing that?
I really think you're throwing everything out the window here. Yeah, of course you want Darvish and King to go 6 for you today, but if it's early, say Darvish gives up a run in the first, I think you're going to King immediately.
I think so too.
Not quite to the point where they're literally both warming up for this game at the same time, but maybe stagger him just a little bit. Like, Darvish starts, and it's like the guy at a water park, he's saying you hold and then go. You hold, go. It's like Darvish starts warming up, and then Michael King 10 minutes later, start warming up.
And that's what's the tricky thing with the playoffs, is because, we don't see, well, I guess we see it, but we don't think about it. We think about the pitches they throw during game.
Right.
It's Coach Kentera has been on our show, beyond in 5 minutes, talking about how every pitch that's thrown in the bullpen or whatever adds to your pitch count.
Morejon was warming up for 2 innings yesterday.
I was like, is Morejon going to be able to pitch? Like, dude's been throwing for an hour now. That's going to be an interesting thing that Mike Shilt's going to have to deal with today, is if there's trouble, you always want someone warm, because, again, you don't want 2 singles right away and then all of a sudden some guy's in trouble and no one's warm. But then again, if you're Morejon and Miller, you don't want these guys just sitting there warming up, considering that they've been taxed the last couple of days. It's a very fine line that the Cubs are going to have to deal with as well.
If there's a day where you're going to overuse somebody, today's that day. So the Padres are going to go out there, and I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to handle it just like that. And we'll see what buttons Mike Shildt pushes. Yesterday, Mike Shildt won the managerial battle. Craig Counsell made some very questionable decisions yesterday. Mike Shildt was nails. We said it, we were on air when it happened, but I said it, I would pull Dylan Cease right now. And then 2 seconds later, Mike Shilt's walking out of the dugout.
That was a good decision.
I think so too.
That's why Darvish, I don't see going past 3 innings, because maybe even 2.5. what's been the problem with Cease and Darvish? We saw it yesterday. The second Cease got to the second part of the second time through the lineup, they're like, he's out. We can't trust him all year.
Let's be very honest. If that wind was blowing differently yesterday, Dylan Cease gave up 2 home runs.
No, there was the first inning. There was a couple bombs that were hit. Now, thankfully, it didn't happen. 858 says late start, shadow beyond pitcher's mound. That should help. That's interesting. That is like a little nuance in the game. It obviously affects the hitters when the pitchers are in the shade and then the hitters are in the sun. I can't wait for this game to start, man.
Well, we're talking to 2 guys coming up over the next hour who have watched more, covered more Padres baseball than just about anybody outside of Ted Leitner. So those 2 guys are going to help us out a lot. Coach Kentera is next. Ernie Martinez coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Let's talk to the coach, Kentera. Before we do, Aztecs tickets on the line right now. If you want a pair of tickets to go see Colorado State taking on the San Diego State Aztecs at Snapdragon Stadium tomorrow night, call right now, 877-767-4760. Yell something funny at Sammy when he picks up the phone. You're listening to San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Coach Kentera next. Hey, it's Fletch for Prize Picks. Listen here, Padres fans. I can see into your head right now. I know what you're doing. You're down at Bub's by the ballpark. You're getting ready for this game that's getting started here in an hour and a half. You still have time to submit a lineup on Prize Picks using promo code Fletch, so you get a $50 bonus, of course. You're going to have time between now and the beginning of the Padres game to put in a lineup for baseball's postseason. So why don't you get after it? Here are some of the entry options for you on today's game. Yu Darvish, more or less than 3.5 pitcher strikeouts. How about Jameson Taillon, the pitcher for the Cubs, more or less than 10.5 pitching outs. All sorts of options here on the Prize Picks app. Fernando Tatis Jr.'s hitter fantasy score, runs, batted in. Manny Machado, same thing. You can do everything with the Prize Picks app. So download it today. Use promo code Fletch. Get that $50 bonus after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks is my favorite app on my phone. Taco Tuesdays and Flex Fridays are just some of the promotions that they offer for you. Taco Tuesdays, you get severe discounts. Flex Fridays, you get severe promotional lineup boost. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code Fletch and play along with Sammy and I as we make a lineup coming up at 12:45 today. Download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code Fletch. Support the show. Support your own wallet if you got the skills. Download Prize Picks today on San Diego Sports 760. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
The sports sponsored by the San Diego Zoo. The Padres get going here at 2 o'clock. Winner take all game will advance to play the Brewers in the NLDS. The Padres, it is a pick 'em, with Chicago being a slight favorite at minus 115. The total is set. The run total is set at 7.5. Yu Darvish should be on the mound for the Padres, and the Guardians and the Tigers in a winner take all game is currently scoreless in the bottom of the second. Hal Gloween is back and brighter than ever. The San Diego Zoo, from spectacular entertainment to spooky surprises, this dazzling Halloween extravaganza will light up your night and leave you amazed. The family fun kicks off at 5 p.m. every weekend in October at the San Diego Zoo.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then for a little watch party, so make sure you tune into John and Jim as well. Now, Sammy, when we were planning out the show today, I think I had one request. That was to get two guests who have the most experience watching and covering the Padres as humanly possible. And I think we got the two of them. Maybe outside of Ted Leitner, Coach Kentera and Ernie Martinez have watched more baseball, Padres baseball,
100%,
than anyone else on the planet. First one joining the show right now. Coach Kentera, what is going on? Coach, we got lucky with you. You're on every Thursday.
Well, yeah, I'm on every Thursday, and I got to tell you, you guys must be making a name for yourself, because everything I'm hearing everywhere I go, hey, I heard you last Thursday on with Fletch and Sammy, so I'm hearing that a lot. So that means a lot of people are tuning in. So congratulations to you guys. But no, I'm just trying to keep busy. I'm going to turn on here in a few minutes. I was doing a little work. I'm going to turn on the first American League game, kind of pulling for Cleveland there, since my mom's side of the family's all from Cleveland, and my uncle used to be a security guard many years ago at old Municipal Stadium, and my grandfather was a Cleveland police officer, and my brother was born in Cleveland, so I'm pulling for the Guardians today, but just trying to kill a little time waiting for 2:08.
It's hard to wait. I feel that way every postseason where you have a game that you have circled on the calendar, and it's hard to wait for that time. But it's coming up in a couple hours here. So, Coach, let's start with yesterday's game. The moment where Manny Machado hits that home run after his first two at-bats in the game, he had runners in scoring position, didn't do anything. Third at-bat, he comes through in the clutch. Where does that rank for you in terms of Manny Machado moments wearing a Padres uniform?
Well, it's got to be right up there with the top, because, quite frankly, he hadn't been a very good postseason player. I mean, going into yesterday, he was a 211 career postseason hitter. Only had that one good year in 2022 where they beat the Dodgers. He had a pretty good postseason. Last year, a very poor postseason. He hit 143 in one series and 190 in the other. So, we need a few more of these great moments for Manny Machado. If you're hitting number 3 in the lineup, man, you got to do some damage, and he did big damage with Shota Imanaga yesterday. But he's 1 for 7, so we need a couple of knocks out of him today. And Tatis had that nice leadoff hit yesterday, but we need more out of him. I've been saying all week, anybody that's asked me, unless Tatis and Machado do something, Padres aren't going to win. They've got to get something out of both of those guys.
Coach, if it was up to you, if you were managing the team today, how would you handle the bullpen? Would Morejon be pitching as well as Miller after the pitching the last two nights?
Well, everybody's a little bit different on that, Sammy. I know in their hearts, everybody wants to be available today, including Nick Pivetta. Apparently, he's on call today as well. He may be able to give you an out or maybe even a full inning, even though he pitched, 2 days ago and not throwing his side session today. So he'll be available. I'm sure Mason Miller and Morejon want to pitch today, but again, they're going to have to kind of get a feel for that. But we're going to see probably some unconventional moves today. And quite frankly, I thought there was a move made yesterday, and I really haven't listened to a lot of the talking heads, but there was an interesting move. When they took out Cease yesterday, I think a lot of people, including myself, were kind of wondering about that, the way he was throwing. But you go back and look and see how that inning unfolded. What was kind of weird, he struck out the first two hitters, Ian Happ and Tucker, and then Suzuki, who's swinging the bat real well, doubled into the left field corner there. And then he decided, they had Carson Kelly, who'd homered the day before, 17 homers in the regular season. They decided to intentionally walk him with 2 outs, right-hander going against Cease. And Cease had great swing and miss stuff yesterday. So they put Kelly on. Then they go to the bullpen. They get the matchup of Pete Crow Armstrong, who's not had a good second half, going against Adrian Morahone. When it all came out in the wash, it worked out. But at that point in time, the Padres were only up 1-0. They ended up scoring, 2 in the 5th on that home run. But I thought that was kind of an interesting move to walk a right-hand hitter with a right-hand pitcher on the mound, as well as Cease was throwing.
Coach, do you feel confident in the fact that it is you, Darvish, on the mound today instead of Michael King?
No, I don't feel real comfortable. I think I mentioned it last week. I would have done this a little bit different. I would have had Pivetta throw game 1. I would have had Michael King, if he was healthy, and I assume he's healthy because I believe you're going to see him very early in this ball game today behind Darvish. And then I would have gone with Dylan Cease in game 3. I'm a big fan of Cease. Even though he's had a rough year, he got the best stuff of any of the guys on the staff, including Pivetta, as far as starting pitchers. But with Darvish, he's at the point in time, Fletch, right now where, he can have success. And he may have a lot of success today because you want to take advantage of the aggressiveness and the overeagerness of young ball players. And he knows, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Fernando Valenzuela. When he won 13 games with the Padres, he didn't have anything. And actually, Darvish has got much better stuff than Fernando had that year. But Fernando was able to read guys' swings. He knew what guys had experience, which guys didn't. And he would, almost unintentionally walk a guy, the old intentional walk to get to that next guy in the on-deck circle that he knew would probably he could get him out on his front foot. The thing that scares me about Darvish today is that he doesn't have the overpowering fastball right now, and he has to finesse a little bit. And the thing with the Cubs, if you look at them, they don't swing at a lot of pitches out of the zone. They're a pretty disciplined ball club. And, when you're not getting those guys to swing at a lot of your off-speed stuff, all of a sudden you're falling behind in the count. You got to come with your fastball, and that scares me a little bit. But I think there's going to be a very, very quick hook. He may go through the order one time, and then I think we're going to see King, and then we're going to see even Fletch and Sammy maybe throwing in the bullpen today. Everybody's going to be on board today, buddy.
Don't worry, I'm loose, Coach. I'm ready to go.
Coach,
right. Make sure you stretch those hamstrings, though. I've heard about you.
Coach, I know you watch a ton of baseball. With the Cubs, Talion, how far do you think he'll go today? Do you think it's only a couple innings and it's kind of a bullpen day, same thing, or do you think he's going to go farther into this game for the Cubs?
Well, I'll tell you, I've been following Jamison Talion for many years. I remember he played here prior to his senior in high school. He played in what they called at that point in time the Aflac game, and I actually did that game on radio. And I've seen him since he was 17, 18 years of age, and he was the number 1 pick of the Pirates, and kind of struggled. Well, I think a lot of guys struggle unless your name's Paul Skeens with the Pirates. But he's had an interesting career. He's had a really good year. He's gonna attack hitters. He's a veteran pitcher. He's been there, done that. He's pitched for the Yankees, so he's not gonna be overwhelmed by the moment. But again, I think Craig Counsell is going to be, very tight. These managers, the first sense of trouble, they're going to go to the bullpen today.
All right, Coach, tomorrow, and Coach Kentera joining us like he does every Thursday here on San Diego Sports 760. Tomorrow, Sammy and I crack the mics at noon. We're saying the Padres won this game because of what offensive player for the Padres?
I think it's going to be Xander Bogaerts is going to drive a ball into one of the gaps. 2 runs are going to score, and the Padres are going to find a way to hang on in the end. They'll piece together that bullpen with who they have. We may see Mason Miller, we may not, but I think Robert Suarez, who had 40 saves during the regular season, is going to find a way to retire the Cubbies in the bottom of the 9th, and we're all going to be chest bumping tomorrow night when we're out at Snapdragon Stadium.
Heard it here first from the coach. Coach, not to be negative, but if things don't go the way we want today,
Sammy,
are AJ Preller and Mike Schultz jobs on the line for this game today?
I don't know about Schultz. I don't think so. He's got a contract extension. Not that means anything. We found that out with Bob Melvin and Rocco Baldelli earlier in the week, but he's got multiple years on a contract extension. As far as AJ Preller, going to be very interesting. I know, talking to people, And, he hasn't been talked to as of about 10 days ago by the ownership about a contract extension. He's got 1 year to go through 2026. And, if they're going to do it, they got to do it during the off season before everybody arrives in Peoria, or that'll be the A topic about whether or not the president of baseball operations is going to continue. I think it's going to be interesting because I'm really not sure what this ownership's looking to do right now. They may want to start all over with their own people. We'll have to wait and see. We've not heard from John Seidler. Hopefully at the conclusion of the season, somebody from the organization is going to step to the mic, not Eric Grupner either. I'm talking about ownership. And let's hear what they have to say about the future of Padres baseball. I think the community deserves that. The way that the community has supported this organization, they need to hear from the head honcho, not an underling.
I like it. Coach Kentera, telling it like it is, man. Coach, we appreciate your time every single week. We do have a listener out in Vegas who's wanted to know if the coach has an exact final score for us in this one.
You know what? I think I'll go maybe 4-3 today. How about that?
I like it. Well, Sammy and I were talking before the show. We feel like both offenses have kind of been a little sleepy here, and we see this one maybe being a little more higher scoring. I think I said 7-6. I don't remember what you said, Sammy.
My pick's coming at the end.
Okay. All right, Coach. You have a great weekend, man. If you swing by Snapdragon tomorrow night, swing by and say hi, JR, and I would love to talk to you again.
Hey, I'll try to make it down there. Got to fight through that Friday traffic, man. You know what? Aztecs are playing well. Hopefully their offense shows up tomorrow. They got a great defense, and let's get that stadium packed again like it was for Cal. That was a great football atmosphere.
That was pretty fun, man. All right, Coach Kentera, we'll talk to you next Thursday, Coach.
Sounds good, Fletch. Sammy, have a good day. Enjoy the game.
There we go. We will, and hopefully he does too. Hopefully all of San Diego enjoys this game coming up at 2:08 today. All right, coming up next, it is Sammy's Long Shots. We're doing a special edition of Long Shots, so stay tuned, Padres fans. We will also have some tickets for you on the other side. La Mesa Oktoberfest tickets, VIP passes for Sunday are coming up next. San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. It's the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim will take over then. Really great insight from Coach Kentera just now, and the O-Siders on YouTube giving some love to the coach. If you want to watch us on YouTube, you can at San Diego Sports 760. Thanks for being here. The O-Siders appreciate you listening to the show. All right, this is the time of day where we do something called long shots. If you're not familiar with long shots, if you're here for the first time today, hi, I'm Ben Fletcher. So that's Sammy Long. Sammy, say hi.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Everyone say hi to Sammy. This is called long shots. Sammy's last name is Long. This is where Sammy puts together a daily fantasy sports lineup, which is 100% legal here in California. We use Prize Picks to make this.
We love Prize Picks.
If you want to use Prize Picks, you can download it. Use promo code Fletch. That's going to get you a $50 bonus in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. This could be that lineup. So, Sammy, we're doing a little special edition today. Usually this is all on you. I'm taking one of the picks today.
Yes. I'm excited. I'm happy. This is a 4-leg entry. We hit the Padre game. We hit the Red Sox Yankee game. We also hit Thursday Night Football. So you're gonna have action on all these games today.
Sammy, smash it.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money, you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance.
Say that to me and his man.
With long shots.
All right, Sammy, you want me to do mine first, or you want to
do your pick first?
Okay, you asked me to do one from the Niners-Rams game tonight. Everybody's hurt all over the field. Niners have nobody left to go to. Here's who they're going to tonight. Brian Robinson Jr., who came over via trade in the offseason. He's the backup running back to Christian McCaffrey. He's been getting more and more touches every single week. Tonight, he is going over 19.5 rushing yards, more than on the Prize Picks app. You can lock that one in.
I like that a lot.
I feel so uncomfortable about everything in this game tonight for the 49ers and the Rams. I feel confident that Brian Robinson is going to get some early touches.
I like that. Brian Robinson Jr. going to be used. I think McCaffrey is going to be used a lot out of the passing game as well, because they're going to need him with all the receivers down, with Jawan Jennings out, Ricky Pearsall down. So
Christian McCaffrey might be playing slot receiver tonight. Put it that way. Him and Kyle Juszczyk.
Yeah. You got, like we were talking before the show, you guys got the all former Kansas City Chiefs wide receivers, and Sky Moore, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and Demarcus Robinson.
By the way, that Rams-Niners game is going to be on 1360 tonight at 5:15.
Hey, shout out to the old 1360.
Used to be extra, now it's the Patriots, so you can listen there.
Okay, since we went Thursday Night Football first, we're gonna actually I'm gonna start with the Padres, which get going here in a little over an hour. Yu Darvish, less than 9.5 pitching outs. This is not a shot at Yu Darvish. It's not saying that he won't pitch well. I see no chance that he goes past 3 innings.
Me neither.
Even if he is pitching well. I think Mike Schilt told us the proof is in the pudding. That's how the saying goes. He pulled Dylan Cease despite him being pitching very well yesterday. Coach Kentera was just on our show talking about it. There was an argument, and Fletch and I were discussing it on air yesterday. Like, are you sure you want to take Cease out? Like, I get it, he struggled a lot this year, but at the same time, he's been pitching well. You don't want to tax the bullpen too much. I think with the fact that you didn't have to use Michael King yesterday, being able to use him today, we're going to go less than 9.5 pitching outs for Yu Darvish. I don't see him going past 3. And if he gets into any trouble at all early, he's going to get pulled for Michael King. So Yu Darvish, less than 9.5 pitching outs. Night game. Yankees, Red Sox. I can't wait for this game. I mean, you talk about like rivalries, legacy. The first 2 games have been fantastic. Jazz Chisholm, unfortunately, did not come through for long shots yesterday, but he came through for the Yankees. He had one of the big stops, which kept it at bases loaded yesterday, I believe in the 7th inning, and did not give up a run. I think it's a legacy game for Aaron Judge. They got the Red Sox bullpen is completely taxed. The guy they're going with tonight is 22 years old. His over-under for strikeouts is 2.5. There's not a lot of faith in him. I think Judge gets it going early. Aaron Judge, more than 1.5 total bases. The Yankees have the pitching advantage tonight with Cam Schlittler. That's his name. And
Sammy's just trying to rack up some FCC violations.
No, we made it very clear. That's his name.
Golly.
That's his name. Aaron Judge, more than 1.5 total bases. I think he performs big tonight and gets it done for the Bronx Bombers. All right, Fletch gave you Brian Robinson, more than 19.5 rushing yards. I like that pick a lot. I think Brian Robinson's a little bit of a bruiser. And like I said, I think McCaffrey's going to have to play more in the receiving game. I'm going to give you a pick on the other side. For the LA Rams, I'm going to go Devontae Adams, more than 4.5 receptions. Everyone's focused on Puka Nacua in this game. I think his number's a little bit high, actually, 95.5 receiving yards. Let's keep in mind this is a division game. They know Puka Nacua well, but I'm not going to stay away from betting against Puka Nacua, considering he's leading the league in NFL receiving yards. So we're going to go Devontae Adams. He's slowly worked his way into the offense, been playing a lot better the last few weeks, developing a rapport with Matthew Stafford. I mean, they get the ball to him on a couple quick bubble screens, couple quick slants, because they're all going to be going toward Nacua. more than 4.5 receptions. So to recap,
you're a little riskier. I would also take a look at the Red Demon for Devontae Adams touchdowns. I feel like that's a lock.
I thought about that, but I didn't want to add a Red Demon here. But I like where your head's at. Yu Darvish, less than 9.5 pitching outs. Aaron Judge, more than 1.5 total bases tonight for the Yankees. Brian Robinson, more than 19.5 rushing yards. And Devontae Adams, more than 4.5 receptions.
Let's make some freaking money.
Make some money, boys.
Babe, that's man. He's money. I like the long shots a lot, Sammy. I really do. Who screwed it up for us yesterday?
Jazz Chisholm.
Oh, that son of a gun.
Which is crazy because he was the MVP of the game.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He didn't get a hit. He didn't get two. I needed two bases.
How good has that Red Sox Yankees series been so far?
Is it? I mean, the MLB playoffs, like it's exciting, especially for
the only series that sucked has been the Dodgers series.
And even that series, like you'd think with the Dodgers scoring the amount of runs that they have scored in 2 games, it would be a walkover. In both games, they gave the Reds opportunities because of a leaky bullpen to get back in it. The Dodgers were able to capitalize on it. But I mean, again, since the first time since 1981, there are 3 closeout games on the same day. This is just exciting if you're a baseball fan because
today is going to be a Padres heavy show the rest of the way. And this might be the only time I get to sneak this in. I'm just so curious because the Dodgers announced Shohei Ohtani is going to be pitching game 1 against the Phillies. How's that going to work for the Dodgers? Like, what is the game plan for Dave
It's
Roberts?
interesting.
Is he gonna? How are they gonna pitch him, hit him? What, Sammy? What do you think they're gonna do?
Well, I think there's a couple things.
Are they gonna let him go like 6 or 7 innings?
And this to be interesting because we're gonna put in the cart above the horse, but again, it's on the NL side of the bracket, so we could potentially see this down the road. Shohei Ohtani, what the Dodgers are doing we're lining him up for a game 5 in Philly if he got there. That's why you're pitching game 1, Glasnow will go game 2, Snell game 3, Yamamoto game 4. It is interesting though because the bullpen's been so bad. Now they may have found a piece in Sasaki coming out of the pen. Vestia got it together last night, but you wonder if Ohtani does go to the pen because for a long time they've been like it's not feasible. You have to take him out of the lineup. He has to go warm up. But I do think if this bullpen, which all indications have not been fixed, keeps giving things up and you have an ace on your team that could come in and close the game, I think you're going to see that. But it's an interesting question. We've never had this in the MLB postseason before. And even for the Dodgers, like Shohei only goes 5 innings. So even though he's like supposed to be money, he's your best pitcher on the team. It's also like you're guaranteeing you're going to the bullpen early, and the bullpen has shown that giving up having to go 4 innings. I don't think that's every Dodger fan's favorite thing.
I'm fascinated to see how it plays out. Again, if it wasn't on the Dodgers, I think it would be the #1 most fascinating storyline in my head right now, but he's on the Dodgers. So 817 text into the show. And by the way, La Mesa Oktoberfest tickets, as soon as I read this text and react to it, we're giving those away.
Get your beer on.
817. How are we feeling about a Rams survivor pick tonight?
Ooh.
We have talked about it so much. We really have. This has been the #1 thing Sammy and I have discussed, not on the air.
It's been on my mind all week.
I understand the pick. I really do. Now, in the preseason, we laid this out. We don't feel comfortable picking primetime in division games. And Sammy got this little cheat sheet from a neighbor or something.
This is my guy, Mark. He's the best.
Says the same thing. In division, primetime games are just stay away games. Now, if you were going to pick the Rams tonight, I get it. However, the Rams are playing against the Saints in 2 weeks at home. Like you feel a bit better about that. And also, let me just throw this out there. In regular season matchups, Kyle Shanahan has kicked Sean McVay's ass.
Right.
Also, Kyle Shanahan, when everything is stacked against him, and he loves moments like this, by the way, his ego is too big for this.
I also, keep going.
Like Kyle Shanahan, when everyone's hurt, when everyone's out, he's scheming up something nasty.
Well, and all these players to the division aspect have played each other. So while if you said, Sammy, your life's on the line, who you think's going to win the game, I would go Rams. I do think we've seen
Warner's best games of his career, by the way, come against the Rams.
Exactly. McCaffrey's still there, and Mac Jones has had starts this year. So it's not like Mac Jones is coming in cold. He has been the starter the last couple of weeks before Purdy came back. I like the Vegas line tonight. So the line opened at -3.5 for the Rams. Made sense. Thought Purdy was going to play. Everyone's going to be there. Makes sense. Field goal and a half at home.
That's the typical home spread when it's a pick 'em game.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It has been bet all the way to 8.5. That means all the public money has come in on the Rams.
I would smash the.
Yeah, I think the Rams win, but I think this is a tight game tonight.
Dude, I am hoping that everybody and their mother picked the Rams in Circa Survivor. Seriously.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Because I think the Niners can pull the upset.
We have to go with stupid Danny Dimes and pray that the Colts don't let us down against the Raiders.
We kind of mapped out a formula at the beginning of the season. This is the week. If we're sticking to our formula, we pick the Colts. which is kind of yucky and kind of gross. And I don't feel good about it, but that's probably what's going to happen. All right. Hour 2 coming up next. Padres all the rest of the way today. Ernie Martinez. Yes. Ernie, the most emotional person in San Diego right now, is going to be jumping on the show coming up at 1:30. Make sure you're here for that. That's a big one. Right now, La Mesa Oktoberfest VIP passes on the line for this Sunday. Call now, 877-767-4760. Do that one more time, 877-767-4760.
Get the boys some water over there.
LaMesaOktoberfest.com for more information. Caller number 8 right now. You're going to get it? Oktoberfest.
I like that.
Caller number 8, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport's sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air. Padres 1 hour away in Chicago. Game 3, winner take all. Going in the winner will advance to take on the Milwaukee Brewers in the NLDS. Chicago, it is currently a pick'em. They're a slight favorite at -115. The run total is set at 7.5. Yu Darvish will be on the mound for the Padres, while Jameson Taillon will be going for the Cubs. Need HVAC this month. Get 0% for 18 months on a new system. Schedule your free proposal at AndersonPHA.com. Anderson, fast and reliable.
It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you until 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. Now listen up here. Legacies could legitimately be defined here in the next 3 hours. Like Padres postseason history could legitimately be defined here in the next 3 hours. There's a way this thing goes horribly wrong. There's a way this thing goes incredibly right. And I think that we've been harping on it for literally the last 6 months. The way this thing goes incredibly right is if Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado step up. I don't really care what happens with the pitching. If those two guys play excellent today, I think the Padres have a damn good shot at winning. But could you ask for it to be any better? Maybe if it's a night game, that's the only way this gets better. But you're at Wrigley Field, one of the most historic places, a cathedral of baseball, tucked inside downtown Chicago. You have, the wind is blowing in, by the way. I follow a Twitter account that tracks Wrigley Field wind. It's blowing in from right field, which I think benefits the Padres and Yu Darvish. But you have the Padres lineup that AJ Preller has spent the last decade forming. You have a bullpen that has been crafted by AJ Preller at this trade deadline for this exact position they're in right now. And you have Yu Darvish on the mound, which years ago when they brought Yu Darvish in, this was also a scenario they were imagining. Now a lot's changed between then and now, but the goal remains the same. This is the team that Peter Seidler envisioned winning a World Series. This is the team that AJ Preller was given the job to craft to go win a World Series. And now it's up to the Padres, man. They're in position to do just that. And you got to win today. And then you got to win against the Brewers. And then you got to win against whoever's left over between the Padres and the Phillies. And then you got to win beat whoever's in the World Series from the American League. This Padres team can absolutely do just that. We've seen them go on runs this year, 2 separate times, 14-3. Guess what? You do that again. It's that easy. You win a World Series. So Padres fans, I hope you're ready. These opportunities don't come along often. Like we've said a few times this postseason, for the first 50 years of the Padres' existence, they made 4 postseasons. Over the last 6 seasons, they've made 4 postseasons. We're living in a pretty special time, and there's a lot to be grateful for. We know that. We recognize that. It's going to be pretty disappointing tomorrow if the Padres season is over.
Well, I think it's always fun in sports. That's why everyone's got a pit in their stomach today, because when there's a game where so much, Fletch, you said legacy, so many changes or people will stay in place based on what happens in this game today. I mean, you're talking about this could be us coming in tomorrow talking about how the Padres are going to take on the Brewers and how they've actually had a lot of success against the Brewers this year and the potential path to the World Series. Or we could be coming here tomorrow talking about how, does AJ Preller have a job? Does Mike Schilt have a job? Or do they need to trade one of the stars? I mean, it's kind of fun in sports when you have a game that determines so much for a city and a team going forward. I'm stoked today. There's so many questions about how they use the bullpen. What's the leash on guys? And it's in baseball more than anything. Baseball and football, you have moments where you go like, a manager screws up and takes a guy out too early. And that's why it's such a building of pressure and momentum in a game.
Or, Craig Counsell decides to pitch to Manny Machado with first base open.
Exactly. That's if the Cubs lose this series, that will be in Chicago radio and Chicago fans. That will be a decision that will reign for a long time. And you're going to look at that. And so it's always fun that we get to see what happens today. And yeah, this really does. Vegas has it as a pick 'em with a slight favorite to the Cubs. I think this is 100%, a 50%. You can make a case for both teams, and the fact that they've scored the exact same amount of runs in games 1 and 2, it does feel like it's only right that it's going to a game 3 today.
And think about the two franchises. Like we know about the curse of San Diego sports. I feel like that's all I've heard since I've moved to San Diego is that San Diego sports are cursed. Who has one of the most recognizable curses in all of sports history? The Chicago Cubs. This is quite literally legacy defining moments that are going to play out over the next 3 hours. I can't wait for it, man. This is what you want. This is why Sammy and I get into this profession, is to talk about 100%. Games like today where everything is on the line for these two teams. Jobs could be online for both of these two teams. This is huge, man. And we can't wait for it. 2:08 first pitch. We are exactly 1 hour away. Yu Darvish, Jameson Taillon. Who's going to win this freaking game? We'll spend the next hour talking about it. But right now it's time for the Big Three, where Sammy Long takes us through the top stories in the world of sports. It's been a special Padres edition in the first hour. I have a feeling we got another one of those coming up right now. Sammy, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
How about our guy Rich McGuire jumping in on YouTube saying, let's go Padres, Ernie Martinez joining the show. Ernie's coming up at 1:30 today. I don't know if Ernie's going to be able to talk. I'm not sure Ernie's been able to sleep over the last couple days, but he will be joining this radio show coming up at 1:30 today to give us some good vibes heading into this game.
619's got the good vibes. Today we see Farrell Merrill of yesteryear, LGFSD.
You know, I'm not in Vegas right now. If I was in Vegas right now, I may do a little sprinkling of anytime home run on Jackson Merrill. I just have a feeling today might be the day.
Yeah, I do feel like, okay, that leads me to my question. Who is going to be the X factor if the Padres win this game today that we're going to be talking about as the hero and will never buy a beer in San Diego ever again tomorrow if they win this game?
I really like Coach's pick with Xander Bogaerts. Xander Bogaerts, after a start to his Padres career that was really about as bad as it could possibly get, has been pretty good this year. If we're being completely honest, when Xander Bogaerts was healthy this season, at least the second half, he's been phenomenal.
Yeah, no, totally.
And Xander Bogaerts was good again yesterday. He's been good in this series so far. I like the pick of Xander Bogaerts. I just don't think you're getting home run power from Xander Bogaerts. So you're asking me something. If there's runners on second and third and Xander Bogaerts is up, I expect him to come through. That's the situation. If this game is decided quite literally by one swing of the bat, give me Jackson Farrell Merrill to hit the home run to send the Padres into the next round of the postseason.
I'm going to go with Luis Arraez.
Ooh, he's been bad this postseason.
I'm going to go with Luis Arraez. Yes, yeah. And that's why I'm going with him. Because we saw Fernando, coach mentioned it when we interviewed him, started to look like he heated up a little bit, had the nice one in the first inning, got on base later on. Fernando looks a little bit better. Machado obviously hits the nuke yesterday. That puts the Padres over the top. The Padres are at their best. Let's go all the way back a year from today. They were playing the Dodgers in the first three games, and they were up 2-1 in the series. What were they doing? They were batting teams around the base pass. Arraez is a perfect example of this. Arraez is a guy who knows he hitting the huge home run jack that you're going to remember forever. But I do think that he is the guy that in the middle of Fernando and Machado and then Merrill and these guys and Bogaerts, he can't be the guy that is just an automatic out. And you got to make it tough on these Cubs pitchers. I do think Luis Arraez is a big moment in this game tonight. I'm actually going to go with Luis Arraez, the guy that has been killed by a lot of people, and rightfully so the last month or two because of how he's played. I think Arraez is going to come through big tonight.
He started getting it going a little bit yesterday. He was part of that 0 for 12, I believe, of the first three in game one. But yesterday played a little bit better. We'll see if Luis Arraez comes up big today.
Number
I like
two,
the pick. I do.
If the Padres lose this game,
oh God,
is AJ Preller and Mike Shildt still with this team moving forward?
This is why we have to bring Ernie Martinez on today, by the way, to cleanse Sammy's pessimism. That's what
it's not pessimism. It's a question.
Look, and
are they coaching? Are they playing and coaching for their jobs tonight and managing?
It's the right question to ask. Look, if they are, I think it's a mistake. Can I be very honest about that? Because they very well may be. I don't know what's going on in John Seidler's head, the guy who's at the helm now. I don't. And we knew very clearly what was on Peter's head because, I don't know, Peter talked. We haven't heard jack from John Seidler this entire season. So here's what I'll say. If they are coaching and managing for their jobs today, it's a mistake by the part of Padres ownership. I think Mike Shildt has done something we haven't seen very often in Padres land, and that's back-to-back 90-win seasons. I think AJ Preller has done something over the last 6 years that we have not seen ever in Padres history, which is get to the postseason 4 out of 6 times. Look, I've said the words fire AJ Preller before in my career. This is not one of those years. I think he's done a masterful job. Who has been the most impressive player in the entire postseason, not just Padres related?
Mason Miller.
What was the biggest risk the Padres took at the trade deadline?
Trading Leo DeVries.
Thank you. I think AJ Preller has hit hard this season. At this point, this is on the players. This is not so. It's on Mike Shildt to make the correct decisions in game. But at this point, if there's a big question after this game, it's whether or not you want your big three to be Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, and Xander Bogaerts going into next year. Whether or not one of those guys needs to move, not whether AJ Preller or Mike Shildt needs to move.
I think Preller and Shildt are managing and GMing for their jobs tonight. I agree with you. I think that Preller being the fall guy is the worst thing that this management could do for this city. because AJ Preller. Can you imagine if AJ Preller had the funds of a Yankees or a Dodgers?
Right.
He will. I promise you, AJ Preller, if he gets fired, will get picked up by the Yankees or someone, and he's gonna have unlimited funds, and he's gonna go there and he's gonna win World Series. Because AJ Preller, you talk about Mason Miller, 100%. Who was the guy that got the game 1 win? The 1 win in the Padres postseason so far? Nick Pivetta. And how did that contract get done? 4-year, $55 million. Backloaded money the final 2 years because he knew he couldn't guarantee the amount of money. And that because it's really a 2-year contract. If he was competing with the rest of the league for the contract without uploading the money in the final 2 years, they weren't going to get it. AJ Preller has kept this team relevant, and in considering what he's had to deal with in terms of the funds from a asset standpoint, and at the end of the day, you said it, Fletch, he's not the one swinging the bat. Like we've been calling on for months now. Where's Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr.? Look what happens. When they play well yesterday, they win. When they play awful on Tuesday, they lose. He can't swing the bat for these guys. So at some point, they have to come through. I think it's a massive mistake if AJ Preller were to be gone after today. Mike Schilt, we're going to see what happens in today's game. I think I would be more apt to get rid of Mike Schilt than I would be actually AJ Preller. That may not be a popular opinion. And now I'm not saying fire Mike Schilt. We're going to see what happens today. But I think that AJ Preller takes a lot of heat. And if we look back at some of the things he's done, people want to point to the Soto deal. Guys, anyone in their right mind, the Dodgers were in on Soto. The Yankees, everyone was trying to trade for Juan Soto, and they were fortunate enough to get the deal. Yes, is it unfortunate that we're looking at C.J. Abrams and James Wood and Mackenzie Gore and some of these guys that could have been great for this?
Are they in the postseason right now?
They're not in the postseason. So you can't dock A.J. Preller for that. I would not do that there. Okay, quickly, big three, story number 3. The over-under for runs is set at 7.5. Fletch, is it going over or under?
That is a stay away if I've ever seen it. If I had to make a prediction, like, are you
There's
holding?
No stay aways.
Are you putting me in handcuffs and taking me to the Vegas casino?
We're at Circus Sportsbook, and you said, Fletch, you're going to lose a lot of money. You got to pick one of them.
The smart move feels like the under. I'm taking the over. And I think most of it comes in the first 3 innings today. I think there's going to be some big numbers on the board early. We're not going to feel comfortable once in this game because it's going to get out to like 5-3 within the first 3 innings.
And you know why I think it's going to go over? Because of the amount of pitchers that are going to be used today. The Dodgers were an anomaly last year. Winning a World Series, counting on their bullpen, throwing bullpen days. I mean, that's living on the edge because if one guy is not right in your rotation coming out of the pen, you're screwed. I think with the amount of pitchers that the Padres and the Cubs are going to use, I think we're going to see some runs in this game. I think even in a closeout game where typically you go under in less scoring, I think they're going to open up the scoring tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like
we're going to be so wrong. This is going to be a 1-0 game. It's going to be decided by one swing of the bat.
I'm
sure. It's going to be 1. It's actually going to be 0-0 in the bottom of the 9th
100%.
Inning. It's going to go to extras. Padres are going to win 1-0 because of a bunt or something.
Viva Padres says Preller and his crew know how to scout.
They do.
Another great point. Another great point. It feels like a massive mistake that
Fernando Tatis Jr. was not drafted to the Padres.
Nope.
And the Padres at that time, when that move was made, it was James Shield to get Fernando Tatis Jr. They were laughed at in that one. So just let that resonate for you. Look, that was the one huge grand slam AJ Preller hit as his time as the Padres GM, but it was a pretty big grand slam. All right, San Diego Sports 760. Break here. Ernie Martinez coming up in 15 minutes. Coming up next, we're giving away some tickets. Judas Priest, as well as Alice Cooper at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on October 18th. Don't go anywhere. Those tickets will be yours coming up next at San Diego Sports 760 on the iHeartRadio app. Thanks, Big Rich. I'll take it from here. It's Fletch here for Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use promo code Fletch and get a $50 lineups bonus when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks is my favorite daily fantasy sports app I've ever had. Been with the company since November of 2023. I plan to stay with the company until I'm old and gray. Here's what's going on in today's Padres game. You can get Fernando Tatis Jr., more than or less than 6.5 hitter fantasy score. You can get Manny Machado. How about it? More than or less than 1.5 runs plus hits plus RBIs. Gavin Sheets, same thing. Download the Prize Picks app today. You still got time before the Padres postseason game to enter a lineup. And if you win, you can win big with Prize Picks up to 2,000 times your cash. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code Fletch. Get those $50 bonus lineups after you play your first $5 bonus lineup. My favorite part about the Prize Picks app, the promotions, Taco Tuesdays, Flex Fridays. They are begging you to win in a multitude of ways. Plus, on a random Wednesday, you'll just see a lightning bolt. Plus, they have missions for you to accomplish to get guaranteed entries. Prize Picks is the best app on my phone. I use it on a daily basis. You can too. Download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code Fletch, FLETCH, and get that $50 lineup bonus after you play your first $5 entry. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Tonight, 6:00, it's the Sean Lewis Coaches Show right here on 760. John Schaefer, Rich Armberger will sit down with the head coach of the Aztecs. Let's take a look back at last week's win over Northern Illinois and preview tomorrow night's game versus Colorado State. It's the Sean Lewis Coaches Show right here on your home for the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. All right, sports fans, this is what it is, man. Elimination game, 1-1 series with the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. This is about as good as it gets. The only way it gets better is if it was at Petco Park today. But Padres have that opportunity. They could be hosting the Brewers as early as next week. So today is the freaking day. This is what we live for as sports fans as the Padres get ready to do battle against the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. Yu Darvish on the mound, Jameson Taillon for the Cubbies. I still don't have a good read on this game, Sammy, if I'm being completely honest. We've done about, an hour and 22 minutes of trying to figure out how this game is going to go. I still don't know.
Well, there's so much unknown because even on the, if you look at the Cubs,
what if Yu Darvish comes out and throws 6 innings?
Well, I just don't think they're going to let him do that. Even though he could, I think that the second he gets in trouble, and because of the averages of him and Cease had a very similar years in the sense of the first time through the order, they're fantastic. And the second time we saw them pull Dylan Cease last night, immediately there were some questions of should you be doing it? Because he did look good in the game, but Mike Schill turned out to be right, bringing in Morahone and getting out of the inning. I just don't think. I think with the fact that Michael King didn't have to pitch yesterday, now it gives you flexibility because basically you're just trying to get through 6 innings with King and Darvish, and I think you try to go 3-3. One of them get in trouble. You could try and push it a little bit, but I really think in a do or die game, considering that the strength of this team is the bullpen, you can't be sitting there going, we left him in too long. When the data all year has shown you, when you leave him in too long, things haven't typically worked out the way you've wanted it to be.
Now, the postseason factor has to come into play here. Like Darvish was very successful for the Padres last year in the postseason. Darvish over his career has been good in the postseason. And so you look at that today, I think that's part of what the Padres are banking on. They're hoping that he could turn back the clock a little bit. Because you're right, Sammy, he hasn't been great this year. Whether he was healthy or injured, Darvish has been inconsistent at best as a Padres pitcher so far this season. But the hope is that Darvish can come out and because the postseason shines a little bit brighter, give you one of those vintage Darvish performances. And Coach Kentera earlier on the show today pointed out something great about Darvish, which is the Cubs are going to be a little overeager today. Darvish has a multitude of pitches he can go to, and if he's locating them well, he can kind of prey on that aggressiveness that the Cubs are going to be coming to the plate with today, especially with guys like a Pete Crow Armstrong, young guys who had a really nice start to the season, but who have faded coming off. He's frustrated. You could see it on his face in every at-bat he's had against the Padres this postseason. Pete Crow Armstrong is pushing to make something big happen. Can Darvish, the old vet, prey on some of that with the Cubbies today?
It maybe turns it back because last year he was fantastic against the Dodgers. I mean, even though he lost the game 5, that game was not on him. He gave 2 solo shots, Kike Hernandez and Teoscar Hernandez. But I think if you'd have told any Padre fan in game 5 up in Los Angeles, you'd hold the Dodgers to 2 runs, you think you probably would have won that game. Now, today, it's crucial. We saw what happened yesterday. When they get a lead, even a 1-run lead, a 2-run lead, you make them chase. You planted that point, Fletch, that Coach made about how they're going to be jumping on pitches. If you let, not that they can't come back, but if you let the Cubs get to a lead and the crowd's going nuts and they're all into it, it's going crazy. Because remember, there's going to be a point in this game if the Padres have a lead that they're going to have traffic, the Cubs, and the crowd's going to be going crazy, and you're going to have to rely on one of these guys to come shut it down. And I think it's so crucial. Fernando and Machado got it going a little bit yesterday. They did not have it the other day. What's it going to be today? Are they locked in? Are they ready to go? Bogarts has been good. Jackson Merrill, like the middle of the lineup has been solid, but it can't just be a slog until the 5th inning where they try to get on the board, because that's a tough task to ask to go into Chicago and not be scoring early, especially when you're more concerned about your starting pitching than you will be your bullpen.
Ernie Martinez coming up in 5 minutes, so stay tuned. Read a couple texts here. Sammy, the text line is asking for a reboot of your long shot, so pull that up while I read this text from the 951. Larry Joe here. Fletch saying he doesn't think Bogarts has the home run power to hit the ball out of Wrigley Field. Just either did reverse psychology for Bogarts having a 2 home run deciding 3 game today, or just jinxed him for hitting a couple deep flyouts to the wall. That could have been the difference in the outcome. I'm going with the 2 home run game for my Padres because I don't want to be in the situation of thinking what could have been all offseason. Hey, 951. I said Xander Bogaerts is going to be the difference today.
Yeah, I think you had him wrong on that. He said he's the X factor.
I said he probably doesn't have the power to end this game with home runs, but I do think Xander Bogaerts is going to come up in a situation with like runners in scoring position where he's going to get the knock that knocks in a couple of Padres. I'm with you, 951. I'm rooting for Xander today. I'm not saying Xander Bogaerts is going to be the failure. I'm saying he's going to be the hero.
Yes. 619. What's long shots? So we'll recap it real quick. Darvish, we got our Padres pick in under 9.5 pitching outs. I think he gets pulled after 3 innings. They don't let him see.
Didn't we have it at 10.5?
No, we had it at 9.5. Talione is at 10.5. Darvish at 9.5. Under 9.5 pitching outs. Aaron Judge, more than 1.5 total bases tonight. I think he has a big time moment against the Red Sox. What way to do that when you faltered in the postseason last year? You were a major reason why the Dodgers came in and whooped you. I think Aaron Judge got something special tonight.
Sammy, we got Ernie waiting. Come on.
Thursday Night Football. Devontae Adams, more than 4.5 receptions. Brian Robinson Jr., more than 19.5 rushing yards.
Ernie Martinez coming up next. Right now, your opportunity to win a pair of tickets for Judas Priest and Alice Cooper at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on October 18th, 877-767-4760. We'll get to this one pretty quick. Caller number 4, you're going to that concert on October 18th. Ticketmaster.com for tickets and info. Ernie Martinez coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport's sponsored by the San Diego Zoo. The game everyone's waiting for. Padres Cubs can go in here in about 30 minutes. It's currently a pick'em with the Cubs being a slight favorite at -115 on the money line, while the Padres are -105. The run total is set at 7.5. Yu Darvish should be going for the Padres, while Jameson Taillon is going for the Cubs. Halloween is back and brighter than ever at the San Diego Zoo. From spectacular entertainment to spooky surprises, this dazzling Halloween extravaganza will light up your night and leave you amazed. The family fun kicks off at 5 p.m. every weekend in October at the San Diego Zoo.
San Diego Sports 760. Great song choice by Sammy Long here as we get ready for Padres Cubs coming up at 2:08. John and Jim going to have a little watch party a little bit later on right here on San Diego Sports 760. We are bringing on quite possibly the greatest Padre fan in history. The man who's watched more Padres baseball, who's rooted harder for the Padres than any other human being in San Diego history. You know this laugh. You love this man. Ernie Martinez, welcome back to the airwaves. Are you able to breathe right now, Ernie?
I got my seatbelt on right now. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Can't delay. We got to do it.
It's so good to hear your voice, Ernie. The people of San Diego love you. You know this, but I saw earlier today on your Twitter account a cool new drawing of Fernando Tatis Jr. you did. When'd you knock that one out?
Oh gosh, that was from like 5 years ago.
Ernie, we need new stuff.
Things, you know.
Ernie, we need new stuff. It's a new postseason.
But if people are still clicking it, it's still good, right?
Of course, absolutely. All right, Ernie, this 2025 iteration of the San Diego Padres, we talked to you at the beginning of the season. Here we talk to you today on what could be the end of the season. Hopefully not. But how have you felt about this team throughout the year?
It's been one of those seasons. I was more confident last year. I thought it would be, build up in a playoff, what they fell short of last season. And there's been some disappointment. But you know what? In the end, I always felt this was a team that was playoff ready. I knew they were going to get into the playoffs. I said, and once they get to the playoffs, you got to hope for the best. And, you guys were talking about DeVries and, just the talk about when they let him go. This Padre team, I mean, when you think of generational players, that's what they were talking about, DeVries. The Padres have two in the middle of their lineup. One at the front with Fernando Tatis and Manny Machado. We have two already in the moment. We don't know what DeVries was going to do, so you got to go out and pick up Mason Miller and make those moves the way they did. With that being said, those two guys, I don't know what it is, but Fernando Tatis and Manny Machado, I'm not going to say they have to figure it out. Whatever it is, whether it's just as simple as rising to the occasion, and we saw Manny do that yesterday. These guys have to do that. We've seen them play so well together and the excitement they bring. I'm not saying it comes down to those guys, but those guys generate excitement throughout the lineup, and that's what needs to happen today. And I really believe, like anything else, if the Padres can strike first, you build confidence in a Yu Darvish, who, you start off the season on the IR, but we've seen some fantastic games from him. We've seen some other games from him. But I think if you give the confidence to your starting pitcher and your pitching staff, good things will happen.
Ernie, if you were managing this team, would you be starting Michael King today or keep it at Yu Darvish?
I'd keep it at Yu Darvish. But at this point, with this game, the season on the line, you got to do whatever it takes. And, that's up to Mike Schilt. We can sit here and talk about what we think should be done or what should have been done. It comes down to Mike Schilt and knowing his players and the players and him talking together. Like if Darvish is on a roll, and Schilt feels like he has to make a move, those guys have to discuss. And Darvish has to, if Darvish feels like he can be in there, you got to roll with the veteran. I like when those guys get in, but if it comes to any moment where something needs to be done, you got to bring in Michael King. And I think that would be a fantastic move.
Perhaps the biggest Padres fan in Padres history. Ernie has seen this team go from 6 or 4 postseason appearances through the first 50 years of their existence to 4 postseason appearances over the last 6 years. It's been a fun ride, Ernie, and you and I took a lot of this ride together. Unfortunately, when you and I were taking this ride together, the Padres were bad. The Padres being good recently, it's been so much fun to watch, man. I don't know how many games you've been able to make it out to this season, but how much does it fill your heart seeing Petco Park as full as it's been all season long?
Yeah, It's tremendous. I think one of the more impressive things is just to see the way the road crowd has gone over the last couple of seasons. You hear the Padre crowds making noise with excitement in other ballparks, and that's something that has never, ever been done that I have seen and witnessed, and I think that's fantastic. And I think it's just to a point where this Padre team has gathered such a big fan base because of the excitement they have gone under the Seidler era that it just adds to the excitement, and it's just good to see those Padre fans who made the trek to Chicago hopefully be the ones making noise here this afternoon.
Ernie, do you think after the last two days, Morahone and Miller pitch, do you think we'll see them both today, or you think we only see one of them?
Again, whatever those guys have left, I mean, you have to start thinking about, if they win, how do you manage your team? But you can't think about that because if you don't manage the team the way you need to today, you're not going to get to see tomorrow. I think everybody on that roster right now is in playoff mode, and they all know what's at stake. I think if they are handed the ball, no matter how tired they are, you have to go Jack Morris. Game 7 of the 91 World Series, that guy, you couldn't take the ball out of his hands. That's the mindset every player on this team has to have, whether it's being a pitcher or a batter being called up in a situation, whatever the situation is.
Ernie, who's your X factor today? I have Xander Bogaerts as mine. Sammy, who was yours?
I had Luis Arraez.
Luis Arraez, that's right. Ernie, who is if the Padres win and Sammy and I crack our mics tomorrow at noon, who is the name we're saying is the reason the Padres won this game?
And I'm going to take the easy way out on this one. I'm going to say it's a combination of a few guys. I think you need to see O'Hearn step up. You guys were talking about Arraez not stepping up, but I think Sheets as well. I mean, the guy has played huge all season long. I think Sheets, to me, is one of those guys who can be the X factor in this game. Even a Jake Cronenworth. These guys have had big hits, but we haven't seen enough of them over this season from those guys. And I think all those guys, it becomes a combination of which one of those guys, or if all of them could just get on some type of roll here today. And, if they win, carry it on. But I think it's a combination of all those guys who have played a significant role in their success, getting them to where they're at right now.
Ernie, we're going to ask you the tough one. We've been asking this all day. Does AJ Preller and Mike Schill have a job tomorrow if they lose this game today?
Well, I don't think Mike Schilt is, but I think, I've said this about AJ Preller. I don't know how long this ownership has plans with him. I think I've always felt this could be Preller's last season. He's done some fantastic things, but I think this is, if they were to get a new general manager usually brings his guy in. So I don't know if Schilt's playing for his job. I know what they're doing. They're playing for a win. And I think Seidler's done a fantastic job setting this team up to be where they're at and be successful. Once again, you guys talked about this too. It comes down to the players. This team, the ownership has done everything possible to put guys in the position to win the big game, and they just haven't been able to do it. We've seen some excitement a couple of years ago when they beat the Dodgers, they lost to Philadelphia. This ownership is put together. It's up to the players to be able to get the big hit and rise to the occasion and break out of whatever is going on mentally or whatever within that clubhouse. To me, it comes down to the players because they're the ones on this field, and they've gotten their team to where they're at right now. They've got to continue it in order for this team to be successful.
Ernie Martinez, perhaps the biggest Padres fan in Padres history, joining us today on San Diego Sports 760. Our buddy Parrish jumping in on the chat saying that Fernando Tatis Jr. is that X factor, that if we crack the mics tomorrow, he's the reason we won. Now, Ernie, I want you to know this is not me asking for it. This is the text line. This is the YouTube chat. We've had multiple people now commenting. They would like for the one and only Ernie Martinez to give everybody a Hell's Bells Forever.
Yeah.
On the way out here, leading us into the Padres game. Ernie, the stage is yours. If you want to do it, baby, now's the time.
Hell's Bells Forever.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Padres. Look, the Padres aren't losing after that from Ernie. Come on, Ern. Where are you watching the game today?
I'll be watching. Actually, my daughter has a tennis matchup, a high school matchup for Poway against Carlsbad today, so I'll be watching on my phone next to a tennis court this afternoon.
Okay. Your daughter's gonna miss a point or something, Ernie, and you're gonna scream because it's gonna be at the exact time Manny Machado hits a home run in this one, and you're gonna look like the worst dad ever.
Well, I tell you this real quick before you let me go.
Absolutely.
I wore all the bells and whistles in game one with the Padre gear and all that. They got beat yesterday. I came in with nothing. Everybody at work was asking me, what's going on? I said, I'm playing the game subtle. They went out and they won yesterday, so I'm going the same way. I'm just no brown and yellow on today. It's all of my heart. And I consider myself not a superstitious guy, but that's my approach for the game today as a big fan.
Look at Ernie putting San Diego first.
It's always. There's nobody in this market ever in the history of ever who has put San Diego first more than Ernie Martinez. Ernie, we love you, pal. Thank you so much for jumping on with us today. Have fun at your daughter's tennis match, and let's go Padres.
All right, let's go Padres. And guys, I appreciate the invite. You take care. Let's go Pods.
Ernie Martinez. Man, I missed that guy. Good luck to the Padres today from Ernie. Parrish, you're welcome. You got your Hell's Bells forever. One of the most iconic phrases ever said in San Diego radio, courtesy of Ernie Martinez. That was fun, man. We're going to close this thing out coming up next. Sammy and I have some picks to make coming up next.
Ooh!
And we're going to answer the question here. We have it written down. Who's going to be that guy? We make our final choices here. Who is going to be that guy that makes the difference between the Padres advancing and the Padres heading home after this?
Text us 70470. Start your message with team. We want your score predictions in the next 5 minutes.
Woo-wee. Take our final break. John and Jim coming up at 2. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for my friend Gary Cooper over at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Gary Cooper and his team give you excellent opportunities to take advantage of the latest cutting edge loan products. Call Gary Cooper today at 858-376-1299. And I'll add one more onto this. Gary Cooper, massive Padres fan, huge San Diegan, Aztecs fan as well. Call Gary Cooper today if you want to talk Padres. And in the meantime, you can talk about different mortgage rates you could possibly get. Gary Cooper is the best, man. You have a conversation with him. I promise you're going to leave that conversation knowing much more and feeling much more secure about your mortgage rate, your HELOC, your first-time home buying purchase, your selling or if you're selling your house, Gary Cooper will set you straight. It's not one of those conversations where you leave it feeling a little more confused or scratching your head as to what the hell did this guy just say? No, Gary Cooper is going to give it to you straight. He takes pride in the fact that every one of his customers, you start by getting a degree in loanology courtesy of Gary Cooper. Call him today at 858-376-1299. Visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. I promise you, for the next couple hours, Gary Cooper's going to be pretty busy. He's going to be watching this Padres game, but he always has time to take your phone call. So give him a call at 858-376-1299. He prides himself on eliminating the smoke and the mirrors and the shell games when it comes to mortgages. Gary Cooper will just give you what you need to know and not fluff it up with a bunch of other stuff and other ways for you to lose more of your money than you need to. Gary Cooper will save the most amount of money that you possibly can. Give him a call today, 858-376-1299. Tell him that Fletch sent you and just have the conversation. All right. We're almost there, man. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you for another few minutes here. John and Jim will take over after us. Padres, Cubs get going just after that. Now, we've been talking about it all day. We've been working it out in our head. We've been trying to figure out exactly what our prediction is going to be, Sammy. And I think I'm finally ready to say it. Say it out loud. Final score 28-20. 49ers win. I'm kidding. Of course, we're talking about the Padres, dude. Come on. We got a
Mac Jones 4 touchdowns tonight.
Mac Jones 5 touchdowns, 500 yards. How about that?
Hey, okay.
How about that?
What was your score prediction? 28-20?
That doesn't work with the 5 touchdowns. They got negative points somehow. So don't worry about it. It's cool, man.
35-20.
Yeah, 35-20. Let's roll with it. On YouTube, our buddy, YouTube's been popping off today. Thank you everyone for being here. Tyler, 5-3 Padres. O'Hearn is my X factor. Look, if they leave Tyone in, O'Hearn can eat at the bottom of this lineup. Sheets can eat at the bottom of this lineup.
I like that pick because they're guys that you're not going to pitch around. Yeah. Like they're going to pitch around Machado after what happened yesterday.
Our buddy Rich on YouTube saying Crone Zone X Factor 4-1 Padres win.
4-1.
Paris 7-4 Padres win. He said Tatis is going to be the X Factor on the text line 916. As is always the case, the key is Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yes, I think all these picks are fantastic. I'm with you. I think Gavin Sheets or Ryan O'Hearn could have a really big moment in this game that we're looking at because you can't pitch around him. But at the end of the day, it comes down to who's going to play better: PCA, Kyle Tucker, Michael Busch, or is it going to be Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, Luis Ariz, or Jackson Merrill, whoever you want to throw in there?
It's funny. The first 2 games were for sure decided by pitching.
100%.
Today's game's decided by offense. I feel strongly about that.
I think so too. I'm going 5-4 Padres. We're hitting the over 7.5 runs. I think it's actually a lot higher scoring. I think the pitchers have dominated, but both teams have seen the bullpens a couple times now. I think the offense gets after it a little bit tonight.
Look, the last thing I think this is going to be a game that's already been decided by the 8th inning.
No,
I think this one gets decided late, but I do think both teams have a lot of offense early. Final score 7-6. San Diego Padres advance to take on the Milwaukee Brewers.
Ooh, 13 runs in the game.
So you could stretch this over. If Vegas gives you alternate lines and they get you up to like 8.5, 9, I still take the over.
All right, let's see if we got our predictions. Let's see if we hit a 3-leg parlay. So we both have the Padres today.
Mm-hmm.
Red Sox, Yankees.
Red Sox send home the Yankees in utter disappointment.
Oh, okay. Boston. Okay, so you have Padres, Red Sox, and I assume you're picking your Niners.
Not comfortably.
We'll pick them on the spread. 8.5.
8.5. Yeah, I feel comfortable the Niners can cover that spread, but no, I'm not going to pick them to win. I'm not an insane person, even though I think it's going to happen.
Okay.
How about this game we've been watching in studio today, by the way, has been fantastic. This Detroit-Cleveland game is going back and forth all game long. They're in the bottom of the 6 here, 2-1. You want to live bet this one too, Sammy? You want to add it to the parlay?
I just saw +140 Guardians. Looks a little juicy.
+140. I don't hate it. This series has been awesome. All the series have so far outside of the Dodgers series. But I was talking to our buddy TD down the hall over at 101.5 KGB. He is the TD of Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. His son, massive Yankees fan.
Okay.
That game is going on TV at the Dale household tonight instead of Niners Rams. And when I brought up the idea of having 2 TVs, he was like, "Are you an insane person? You would bring 2 TVs in your living room?" I'm like,
"Oh, what?
If that's insane, lock me up. Put me in an asylum, dude."
During college, we had the ultimate setup, man. We had like multiple TVs. We had we had for the NFL draft, we had 3 different TVs for all 3 different coverages of it.
I do think Yankees Red Sox is kind of must watch TV at this point.
Oh yeah,
that series has been unreal. I'll have the 2 TVs set up.
It's like if the Padres end up playing the Dodgers, when you have 2 teams that absolutely despise each other, it's always produces fireworks.
This is good, man. We're in a good spot right now with baseball. Today's going to be a lot of fun. Enjoy it. I hope that you are all being degenerates, going downtown, getting hammered, watching this Padres game. If you do, don't drive. There's lots of options.
But I was about to say, iHeart was about to check in there and make sure we got that PSA out there.
This is as good as it gets, man. So enjoy it. I remember having a similar conversation before the Aztecs were in the Final Four. I'm like, it does not get better than this. So elimination game, try to enjoy this one. Have fun watching it. Hopefully we're coming on air tomorrow at noon and saying, what a freaking game by the Padres. And hopefully it is Fernando Tatis Jr. or Manny Machado or Xander Bogaerts or Jake Cronenworth or Ryan O'Hearn. Hopefully all of these guys show up today.
And to that end, enjoy a game where I know it's so stressful, but it's like, it's so fun getting to watch a game coming off of summer where there's a lot of talking about what could happen that literally will make wholesale changes in the Padres organization or keep the status quo and maybe create a legacy and a run that we haven't seen before.
Every bad stretch of the Padres from this season gets wiped away with a victory today. Just think about that.
Totally.
Let's go Padres. As Ernie Martinez would say, hell's bells forever. We'll see you tomorrow. John and Jim coming up next. Enjoy it, San Diego.